The ranking of 2014 as the hottest year reinforces the long-term trend of rising global temperatures, a trend driven by the increase of carbon dioxide levels in the atmosphere.
Carbon dioxide levels are increasing because we're taking carbon out of the ground, mainly as coal, oil, or as natural gas, and we're burning it. When you burn carbon, you produce carbon dioxide, which contributes to the planet's greenhouse effect. And as we continue to increase that, we're going to continue to see warming and more records being broken, not every year, but on a pretty regular basis.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, before we get to Marc Morano to talk about all that, I want to remind you all to tune in to Newsmax TV tonight, 9 p.m. for extensive coverage of the State of the Union address. Newsmax's J.D. Hayworth and Miranda Khan will be joined by high-level commentators, including John Fund, to discuss the president's speech, what's ahead for 2016. 9 p.m. Eastern Time right here on Newsmax TV. All right, Marc Morano, a founder of ClimateDepot.com and skeptic. Of course, not skeptic, but a man who speaks the truth about the so-called global warming. How did they get away, Mark, with coming out with this government report that this is the hottest year the world has ever seen?
I mean, it is unbelievable, even in the context of the global warming debate. The clip you just played is utter and sheer nonsense. What they declared, 2014, the hottest year on record, what New York Times said the hottest year in, I think, in human history or something, is nonsense. And here's why. It's based on hundredths of a degree temperature, which you can't even measure. In other words, there's a 500% error bar, and this is within the error bar, comfortably within that error bar. There's no way they can measure it. It's a political statement. When NASA originally released it, they did acknowledge that there's only a 38% chance that it was even that it could even be called the hottest year, but they buried that in their press materials. One of the heads, Gavin Schmidt, went on, I believe, PBS, and he said it's a fraction of a fraction. He just sort of threw that by in the interview. But when people realize what he's actually saying, this whole report about the hottest year, Steve, confirms the global warming pause, because you can't measure hundredths of a degree temperature between hottest years. It's like a thermometer. If Al Gore says our Earth has a fever, if you measure your child's temperature and it's 103.5, no one's like, oh my gosh, it's 103.51, it's 103.52. That's the equivalent of what they're trying to say here, and it's not even, they don't even have confidence in what they're saying.
NASA said they're only 38% sure of what they're saying.
62% unsure. This is where we are right now. But the media ran with it, and this was their stated goal from the beginning. I like to call it, it's now on my website, it's actually from the Federalist Society, they're calling it the most dishonest year ever. And the hottest year claim dissolves on contact with actual science and on contact with actual journalism, I might add, because the NASA is backpedaling, NOAA, our federal agencies are backpedaling. But keep in mind, this had to come out right before the State of the Union address. I will bet you serious money that in tonight's State of the Union, President Obama will cite the hottest year on record as part of his global warming propaganda. This was the federal agencies knowing they had to produce for the top man in their command.
Yeah, I don't doubt that for a second. Now, of course, the hypocrisy continues as we have 1,700 private jets flying into the Davos climate change nonsense convention, whatever it's called. 1,700 private jets.
Yeah, in fact, these UN conferences that they have, and I was at one recently in December in Lima, Peru. They're called traveling villages. It's 10,000 people that come via airplane, trains, boats even, and they travel all around the world. As a U.S. Senate employee, I've been to Bali, Indonesia, Kenya, in Africa. I've been to Cancun and other UN conferences. And my round trip ticket that the State Department paid was almost $15,000, $16,000. I was in business class, international travel. I had my own pod with the beds laid down.
Crazy.
These conferences are coveted assignments for Senate staffers, for House staffers.
Mark, everybody could read about it and more on ClimateDepot.com. Thank you, Marc Morano. You're the best. And Gimme 5 is next, folks. Stay tuned right here on Newsmax Television.